Hello everyone and welcome to our webinar. I'm just going to give a few of our registrants time to log on to the webinar. We're expecting over 100 people and we are only halfway there at the moment, so I'm just going to give them a few more seconds and then we will get started. Just a couple more and we'll be right with you. All right, all set. Good morning again, everybody. We are here today to talk about ABB Ability Ekip Up, and Milad will be taking us through this webinar. But before I hand over to Milad, I'd just like to go through a couple of housekeeping points, which most of you are familiar with, but just in case there's anybody new, in front of you is your screen where Milad's presentation will be shown, and to your right of your screen is your control panel where you can check your audio and type in your questions. Throughout the presentation, everyone will be muted by design. Now, you're welcome to type in questions throughout the webinar, but all questions will be addressed at the end. If we run out of time, Milad will take those questions and answer them offline. This webinar is recorded and will be sent to you within 24 hours after the webinar by email with an email link. And at this point, I'd also like to remind you that after the webinar, there is a short survey. We'd like you to take a few minutes and give us your feedback. And with that, I'll hand over to Milad to take you through the presentation. Milad, over to you, and I'll speak to you at question time.
Thank you very much, Isabel. Can you hear me all right on the system? Perfect.
Okay, everything's good.
Excellent, excellent. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining our today's session. Quite overwhelmed by the number of attendees, one of the biggest numbers that we have had across the webinar series across ABB. So thank you very much for displaying your interest. Before we start, I'd just like to wish you that you're all hopefully well during this interesting time period, you and your families. And like myself, we are all working from home. So if you are hearing any dog barking or any noise at the background, these are uncontrollable, unfortunately, but please accept our apologies for that, especially with the bandwidth of the internet if there's some distortion as such. We'll try our best to avoid those situations. Just would like to introduce myself. My name is Milad. I'm part of the digital team across ABB. These are some of my colleagues from different businesses. I belong to the electrification business line, and I'm part of the smart power part of the business. What we're going to be talking about today is essentially around Ekip Up, the digital relay. We are going to have a second session this afternoon at 2 p.m., which is covering the application examples of the same product. So this session is entirely sort of designed to talk about the product itself and some of the actual functionalities that it has. I would like to also acknowledge the attendance of our channel partners and engineering consultants and designers who are attending today, government bodies as well who are watching us from across the country, and from outside Australia as well. So thank you very much for that. Before we start, just a very brief introduction. Some of you who have attended my previous webinars, you may feel that these couple of introduction slides would be the same. This is just an intro about ABB Ability. And essentially, ABB Ability is our answer to digital solution, and it brings our digital products and services together as a combination, and essentially it creates a digital experience for our customers and the clients that we deal with. Across ABB Ability, we are targeting and sort of helping and assisting sectors in utilities, in industrial parts of the market, and in terms of transport and infrastructure as well. And essentially, the idea is bringing across solutions that can help across different business lines in ABB. At the moment, we are looking at 210 solutions that we do have available. And the product that we are talking about today does belong to the ABB Ability portfolio, and it is enabled to communicate across our digital portfolio as well through ABB Ability. One of the previous webinars that I have covered before was around EDCS, an electrical distribution control system. That again is another solution across ABB Ability platform. Obviously, what we are talking about today is Ekip Up, and Ekip Up, as I mentioned, is another sort of product that is within the Ability portfolio. And the idea is to be able to cover and meet the requirements with utilities, industries, and transportation or infrastructure businesses and projects with these solutions per se. Technically, Ekip Up has 4 functions. It does provide monitoring capabilities, prediction capabilities, optimization capabilities, and control capabilities as well simultaneously. The range itself is sort of divided into 5. So what we have across the portfolio is we have Ekip Up Monitor, we have Protect and Protect Plus, and we have Control and Control Plus. And within the metering part, so it is able to measure current, voltage, power, and energy. It is also able to provide power quality numbers and items, and it is able to record events as well, such as data logging activities. It is able to communicate, obviously, across multiple protocols, TCP/IP, RTU, which is the old school type of protocols. Profibus, Profinet, Ethernet, and DeviceNet are some of the other ones. IEC 61850 is another protocol that the unit can communicate across, and it's one of the most used protocols, especially when talking with medium voltage relays. And of course, it can communicate across our own electrical distribution control system, the EDCS platform. The protection functionalities that Ekip Up can provide is obviously across the main protection criteria: the current protection, voltage protection, frequency protection, power protection. And it's not just limited to those basic elements. It's also extended to advanced protection functionalities such as earth fault, restricted earth fault, unrestricted earth fault, directional protection, generator protection, and adaptive protection as well. In addition to that, across the control functionalities, it can provide the power controlling sort of power management solution too, and it is able to sort of create load shedding functionalities in terms of shaving loads and peak shaving and those functions, which is more popular these days. So these are a couple of functions and characteristics that the Ekip Up itself has. As mentioned, there are measuring relays and protection equipment standards that the unit is compliant to. Some of the sort of better usage of the relay is on shipping and marine sort of applications. It does have the registration certification for RENA and DNV, which are the shipping registers, and it can essentially operate up to 1 kV, so 1150 volt AC. And you don't need to have any voltage transformers connected to it for voltages equal or less than 690 volts. And essentially, in terms of temperature itself, it can vary and be installed in temperature environment from -25 to +70. It does have a high accuracy class as well. In terms of current class, that's 0.5. In terms of voltage class, that's 0.1. And in terms of power kilowatt accuracy class, it's class 1. It is able to measure up to 50th harmonic as well. And it is able to provide waveform captures and data logger functionalities too, in addition to the remaining items that it is measuring. In terms of current, it can measure up to 6,300 amp. There's a typo here for 4,000. There's an advancement now that it can do up to 6,300 amp as well. Now, I often get asked questions about the dimensions and the installation methods, and essentially how it can be installed and where can it be installed and how large is this relay. I have some real photos at the end of the slides today as well that I can display later on. So this is the dimensions that you're looking at. Two ways: you can have it installed in front of the panel, or you can even have it installed on a DIN, just like how you have across your comms rack. It does have the ABB touchscreen type of design as well, which makes it quite interactive and user-friendly and easy to sort of operate and commission and use for service engineers. Quite a number of indicative LED lights at the front to indicate if it's powered on, if it's powered off, if there is a fault with comms, or just like how your normal relay has those sort of LED indication. Quite a similar sort of scenario here. There is a removable battery installed as well for time stamp. So that's for data logging activities, just in case that your main supply is turned off or is lost, so that the information can stay and essentially can remain. There is a test connector at the front too. Essentially, that's used for commissioning purposes. You can hook that with your laptop to sort of start the commissioning phase. There is a sealable protection cover too. Some of the sites that have a very tedious sort of locking mechanism, or essentially lock system, that they like to sort of have red lock, yellow lock, blue lock in terms of their operation, such as oil and gas application. You can utilize those sort of lock activities quite easily in front of the relay and sort of secure access and seal the access to in terms of who can sort of change settings or whatnot. Obviously, the setting and all that is password protected, so you're able to change that password or essentially provide those passwords. Protection degree is IP40, and for those of you who have met me before, essentially the touch screen is sort of like your smartphone app situation that you can select and choose individual settings and browse the menu. It is available in different languages, but presumably that's not a big use for us. But if there are some sort of companies who are sort of exporting overseas, that may be of benefit to them. And in terms of the space, so it's quite compact in terms of how much it occupies within your complete package that you are creating in terms of switchboard or switchgear or distribution board. And as I mentioned, there are two ways that you can mount this DIN rail, or you can have it panel mount as well in front of the panel itself. So just a bit more around the actual relay itself. So you can see that on the left hand side, that's how the signaling contacts would be displayed in terms of the lights and LED lights. Your CTs and VTs, if you have any, can be connected from underneath. In terms of measurement module, that's where the measurement module would be installed in. That's how the display unit will sort of look like. You can have a variety of rating plugs to change the sort of nominal current of the unit itself. And obviously it will have a supply module, and we can have additional comms capabilities across beside the supply module when you install them on top of the relay itself. And if you see these clips, so these clips are essentially used to secure the relay if it's a panel sort of installation. So it sort of sits quite nice and flush, if you like. As I mentioned, in terms of comms, so comms capabilities can be across RTU, TCP, Ethernet, Profibus, Profinet, DeviceNet, 61850, our very own electrical distribution control system, and it is able to talk on Ekip Link as well, which is our sort of proprietary protocol in ABB. In terms of sensors as well, you are able to make it as sensitive as possible for residual current detection too. Some engineering design companies like to sort of over secure and over protect the structure and switch rooms with residual current protection facility. So you're able to provide those too. You can have the current sensors in terms of 3-pole or 3-phase or 4-pole. Shouldn't matter. You can have both of them. In the next slide, we're gonna show you the different types of sensing capabilities. So we have provided 3 different types of current sensors for this. Essentially, the type A is your typical sort of old school bus bar sensors. Type B is the closed loop sort of sensors that you can run cable, or you can even have bus bar across. My most favorite one is type C, and this is what we sort of designed the most across in Australia with. It's open Rogowski coil, and it's quite easy to install, and you can essentially wrap that around the cables or bus bar wherever it is. So the open style is quite easy to install in either existing or new design, and the weight is quite light, and you can sort of see the direction of the current, or what you need to be careful in installing this open CT open current sensor Rogowski style is that you need to be wary of the direction of the current to get the right reading, and essentially it's light enough to be suspended on measured conductor as well. So and it's insulated too with the actual material that it has been designed with. The other major sort of question that I'm often asked by engineers and designers and our partners is the ordering details. So obviously the way that you can order the unit itself is you need to choose the version that you're looking for, so monitor, protect, or control. And once you have chosen that, then you need to sort of decide on the number of phases that you are trying to do the above. So meaning that if you are trying to monitor 3 phases or 4 phases, you are trying to protect 3 phases or 4 phases, or you're trying to control across the 3 phases or 4 phases. So with that, then you can choose the number of phases and the current sensor type, so the type of CTs that you're looking for. That's the next step. The rating plug is another important part that you need to choose and have in mind in terms of nominal current. So that needs to be sort of selected beforehand prior to the ordering. And the Ekip supply itself is a 24 volt, 24 to 48 volt supply. So these are essentially, they need to be decided prior to you actually ordering. So you need to have these ideas in mind so that you can generate a part number. And then the comms protocol and the way you would like to sort of do your communication part, it can be decided later on. It can be sort of chosen later on as well. So you can sort of get the relevant RTU or TCP or REC 6150 later on installed to the unit, and you can even get the module for communicating to our very own EDCS, electrical distribution control system, as well. And you can install that later on, so that's not a major sort of holdback. But the primary part is, first you need to sort of be able to choose what you're trying to do, monitor, protect, or control, and then second, the number of phases and the type of sensing that you like to do, and the rating plug. So these are the main sort of items that you need to choose first in hand. We do have additional accessories that you can sort of use later on. So as I mentioned, residual current is one of them. So some of the engineers like to provide for the residual current protection across a plant or switch room. So you can always add that later on. You can always add additional signaling capabilities and additional, sort of testing and programming capabilities as well. So that can be added later on. Just a summary of who can benefit from this. So our system integrators and essentially they can benefit from this product itself. Service providers across they can be essentially utilizing this unit. Can be ABB or outside ABB, shouldn't matter. And obviously the engineering designer who can benefit from such units. In terms of application, we have had lots of application across critical power, so UPS and generator protection. In terms of infrastructure industry, so your typical building applications and the old school industrial plant, so that can be oil and gas. They do like that very much. Can be across food and bev or automation, or we don't have any automotive industry left in Australia, unfortunately. Wastewater and water, that's another application. As I mentioned, marine is another one, and across the microgrid, that's another application that you can sort of utilize this unit. So it can sort of be installed in your switch room like that. That's just an animation essentially. As I mentioned, there's a real photo later on that how it looks like in your board. So this slide is really trying to cover the different aspect of item that Ekip can sort of provide in terms of energy management and asset management, and it can sort of help with the asset management part and health assessment of the plant itself in terms of your operation and in terms of reduction in your energy cost to see the feeders portfolio and how they are sort of operating and provide additional sort of visibility and views to the way that the plant is ran. It can also provide you with some energy forecast as well. So essentially, this energy forecast item can sort of be referred to as a neural network model. So it acts like a sensing capabilities across a plant, and it can sort of help with understanding the amount of saving that a client is able to provide in an existing plant or even a new plant that's up and running with quite a high accuracy. In terms of alerts too, so alerts and status is another part that's quite important for operating an existing plant or a new plant. And obviously these two aspects are done through ABB Ability EDCS, Electrical Distribution Control System itself. And this is how Ekip Up can help you to sort of be alerted and have those notifications across your electrical parts. In terms of commissioning, so commissioning is done with Ekip Connect. So this is how it would look like. You can go on and scan and sort of scan the relay itself and dial into the relay and sort of check different status and change those settings or those notifications that you're looking for. Probably item to add here is that Ekip Connect is free of charge, so all of you can sort of go and log in to ABB website and sort of download Ekip Connect for free. And this is how it looks like when you want to sort of commission or utilize the Ekip Up on Ekip Connect. So you will go on and sort of connect to it and sort of scan the relay and dial into it, and then you're able to view different parameters and change those parameters. Obviously, everything is password protected, so not everyone is able to perform all of those actions and tasks. Now we have a couple of videos here. I'm gonna try to play these. I'm not too sure about the bandwidth and how the sound quality would look like. These are all across YouTube, so it is available to everyone. I do suggest you guys to sort of browse them yourself too across YouTube. So if you just log on to YouTube and search for ABB Ekip Up, and the first one is ABB Ekip Up Energy and Asset Monitoring. So that's the first one that we are going to play now. So I'm going to give it a try to see how it sort of sits across. We have a number of attendees today, so that sort of reduces the bandwidth. So let's try now.
Hi, I'm Keith Singh, and welcome to this demonstration of ABB Ekip Up. ABB Ekip Up helps you manage your power needs to take appropriate action to improve your operational efficiency. Ekip Up offers many advantages for energy asset. It's easy. No need for external gateways or meters. Everything is Up is ideal for operating existing installations. It's recommended third-party certifications. Once it's installed in the switchgear, you can connect to the power with this template. It operates continuously. Save up to 10% of your energy cost using electricity.
All right, guys, I think I had a couple of feedbacks that the video sound was not very good. So what I would like you to do at your spare time, please, if you can, please go on to YouTube and in the search button, just search for ABB Ekip Up, Energy, Asset and Monitoring, and you will be able to sort of play this this video. It's quite a useful video um, in terms of the functionalities and what it can provide. Now, that won't be the only videos that we have here. We have another 3 that I would like you guys to take note of and sort of browse during your own time as well. So same thing, ABB Ekip Up, and search for feeder protection. And if you do that, then it will take you to the same sort of YouTube page, and you are able to see this video for the feeder protection. So please go on and search for that yourself too. I won't be playing it now because the sound quality is quite bad across the bandwidth of the internet. The third one is generator protection. So generator protection, so Ekip Up for generator protection. And last one is Ekip Up for temperature monitoring. So please go on and take a look at these 4 videos that's available for everyone's view across the YouTube channel itself. I promised you sort of a real sort of installation picture. Obviously, we are not able to provide you with client's installation because that's against the privacy. So, but what we can sort of show you here is an installation for our one of the conferences that we held in Melbourne Convention Centre, and essentially this is how the Ekip Up relay was installed in the real switchboard, and it was displayed across a variety of other items and switchgear that we provide in ABB. So just wanted to show you a sort of touch and feel of how neat the installation is across with Ekip Up relay itself. You are not limited to installing this in switchboard. You can install that anywhere you like. Can be in distribution board as well, or can be essentially in any sort of IP protected sort of environment for providing your measurement and monitoring and protection. So just to summarize what we spoke about today, so obviously Ekip Up is part of the ABB Ability portfolio. Scalability is one of the important key elements here that you are able to sort of get and utilize with Ekip Up itself. And what we learned about today was around the specific characteristics of the relay itself, the variety of installation and comms capabilities. And again, in the afternoon at 2 p.m., I'm going to be holding an application sort of presentation on Ekip Up and where it can be used, some of the application that it was essentially installed at. And just don't feel alone. There are tools and templates and use cases that we are able to provide and supply you with, and just make sure that you get in touch with us after this webinar, and we are more than happy to support you across with different functionalities or engineering and providing you further assistance in terms of using this product in your design or your plant. And with that, I would like to open the floor to our virtual question and answers. Hopefully, I'll be able to answer some of the questions that you guys may have. And with that, we can sort of finish the presentation. So I'll pass on now to Isabel to sort of get the questions across from you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Milad. We do have several questions, so I'll run through them. I am conscious of time. We've got about just under 10 minutes, but let's get started. The first question is, can I use Ekip Touch in indoor boards where temperature reaches 80 degrees Celsius?
80 degrees Celsius. We have had a couple of cases installed in Australian outback, and that was around a few years ago, and there hasn't been any reported of any issues. So, yeah.
Okay, excellent. And the next question from a distributor is, can Ekip Up control the governor of a genset?
Yes, it does. So what I would suggest you to do is, if you can take a look at the generator video that we just showed, and that will give you additional insight in terms of how it operates.
And just from the same distributor, I have another question. Are the current sensors sold singularly or as a set?
They are a set of 3-phase or a set of 4-phase. So 3-phase or 4-phase sets. They have part numbers for 3-phase, and they have part number for 4-phase. So essentially, the part number for 3-phase will have 3 CTs, and the part number for 4-phase will have 4 CTs in the package.
Thank you. Do we need a special cable to connect the Ekip Up?
Special cable to connect to what exactly? If they are referring to connecting the CTs to the relay itself, that cable is provided with the relay. If they are referring to cable connecting to your network, obviously you will use the typical sort of LAN network or whatever the protocol that you're communicating across in terms of communication. Yes, you will need to sort of communicate across with that.
The question was indeed about communication, Kate.
Yeah, sounds good. So of course. So it depends on the comms sort of protocol that you are looking at, and obviously with that comms protocol, then yes, you will need to source those network cables and then connect that back to the relay itself.
Very good. A question from one of another distributor, and this time is, how many individual loads can it monitor?
Simultaneously is essentially depends on what they're looking at doing. So I would suggest that we take their details and we are able to sort of provide those information to them one-to-one.
Okay, will do. And the next question is, do you have restarting relay feature embedded in the Ekip?
Restarting relay feature. If they are referring to a sleep and wake up function, that functionality is sort of embedded in the relay. If they are referring to something else, I'm not too sure what it is. So I'm more than happy to talk to them directly too. But if they're talking about the sleeping and wake up function, so unlike the other relay that goes to sleep mode, the Ekip Up won't be going on any sleep mode, essentially. It will be constantly lit and constantly operating.
Very good. The next question is, how much current does this release require for functioning?
Okay, so essentially, it is 10% of the nominal current, same as our circuit breakers. Having said that, that 10% can be managed with different rating plugs. So if they're having an application of lower amps, essentially we can nominate that suitable rating plug of lower amps, and we are able to accommodate that for them.
We have a question from a colleague. Does this have any software upgrade facilities similar to the new ABB trip units? And also
Yes.
any Bluetooth connectivity?
It does have the software update capability. Bluetooth connectivity, I need to get back to them. I'm not too sure about that yet.
Not a problem. You will have the colleague's name and be able to reply directly.
Sounds good. Thank you.
How can you ensure that the testing of the release without injecting the primary current?
How can we ensure the testing of the relay without? So the one of the test kit that we do have does provide secondary injection to the relay itself, which is the standard testing defined by the standard. Obviously, if they are looking at primary injection, that primary injection needs to be done on the actual circuit breaker that they are looking at, or the bus bar that they are having this installed, and then with that they can sort of test the care parameters on the relay and the protection functionalities.
Thank you. How many communication protocols is it compatible with?
So obviously I mentioned that across the slide itself, they looks like they have something specific that they want us to look at, so we can take their details too in terms of comms capabilities.
Yeah, possibly missed the beginning of that slide. We'll take that offline and reply that afterwards then.
Sounds good.
What is the algorithm for the load forecasting with respect to weather?
Quite a complex algorithm. Very complex, and it's quite a patented algorithm too. So definitely we can discuss that with them too, if they're interested.
Not a worry. I will pass those questions on to you offline. And the next question is just a few questions regarding your slide. If you'll be able to send them PDF versions, and if so, we will have everybody's emails, but I will have Milad answer that directly to the individuals.
Yeah, sounds good. So definitely these slides are my own creation, so I have to protect my own IP, but we are able to sort of provide them with a set of slides that does cover what we spoke today in terms of details, and yeah, more than happy to provide that in a PDF format. No problem.
Thank you. Now we are running out of time, but I'm just going to see if I can get one more question in for you. Let me see. What is the technology being used in the protection chain for censoring the parameters?
The technology being used, I think we need to discuss this face to face as well. So if we can take those details, I'll be more than happy to have a conversation one-to-one.
Okay. Now that does bring us to the end of the question session. So Milad, thank you for your time. If there is any question that haven't been answered online yet, Milad will respond to you offline as soon as possible. Before we leave, we'd like to thank everyone for joining us and remind everyone to please take a few seconds to answer our short survey, which will pop up after this webinar closes, and reminding you that there is a second part to this webinar this afternoon at 2 o'clock. Thank you very much for joining us, and have a safe day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.